Welcome into the Gridiron Grind Crew 3 with Jimmy G and Jimmy. It is time for football. We got a little taste of it last week. A couple games. Stunner down over in across the pond in Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah, and they should have known, man. They got an Irish. Georgia Tech's got an Irish
Hunter.
Yeah.
Florida State gets beat on a last-second field goal. Florida State, number 10. They did all that crying about getting left out of the playoff last year. Then they got murdered in the bowl game against Georgia. And then they lose to Georgia Tech, whose Georgia Tech's over under win total was like 4.5.
Big one.
Wish I'd have jumped on that one. Anyway, Florida State, if you pick, good thing we didn't pick the Noles preseason ACC. We're both like in Miami. Did you watch that game? I have no confidence in Florida State.
And
DJ Ugalele is the exact same.
Ugalele's not.
He's terrible. You can't throw the ball down the field with that guy.
No, he's not it, man. And what's crazy is it just kind of goes to show you just never know. You can have all the stars by your name in the world. I mean, he was the number one. He was over CJ Stroud in that recruiting class.
Yeah.
And look, he's on his third team and just isn't it. So, yeah, I have no confidence in Florida State with him at quarterback. Now, they make a change maybe, but not with him.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you got somebody better, why aren't you playing him?
Yeah.
Could be a long season, Florida State. Maybe they regroup, but Georgia Tech might be better than people thought. But I mean, Georgia Tech's not going to be all world.
No.
So you're not going to get your schedule's not getting easier. Put it that way. You got Notre Dame, Miami, Florida on the schedule. Could be a long season for the Noles. So that was
especially they keep getting quarterback play like that. I mean, golly. I mean, they can. I guess we could loan out Trey Lance.
Yeah, I bet he'd only throw 2 or 3 interceptions in college instead of the 5 he threw in the preseason game last week.
Should be good. Be good for his stats.
He's terrible too. I don't know what the Cowboys see in him. But anyway, we'll talk about the Cowboys next week. This is sole college football episode. Next week will be a lot more heavy on the NFL with Cowboys and the NFL starting. But this week we got huge week 1 games on the slate. I mean, last year, if you remember, week 1 last year was a dud. Not many big games. That's the opposite this year. We got a lot of big games. Roll out some games Thursday night. A couple of decent ones to watch. Friday night is a couple of decent ones. Nothing crazy. But then Saturday, Sunday, we get into the meat and potatoes of this week 1. Let's break down a couple of these games. The first big game kicks off at 11 o'clock Saturday. Neutral site, Georgia, Clemson. Right now, Georgia favored by 13.5. What stands out? What are you looking at in this Georgia-Clemson game?
I'm looking at a couple things. One is Carson Beck to try to have – I think Georgia's going to try to send a message to Clemson and to the rest of the nation. Hey, guys, the Dogs are, we got left out. We're slipped up in the SEC championship game. We're for real. Carson Beck going, I can throw to other people besides Brock Bowers. And then Dabo Swinney, I'm not saying he's on the hot seat, but when you, in today's NCAA, and you just sort of refuse to use the transfer portal, you're in a slow heating frying pan, basically. So I think Dabo's going to need this. If Clemson gets blown out, which I think Georgia covers, by the way, if they get blown out or it's a 3 or more score, I think Dabo, they kind of start talking about that a little bit, which is crazy when you think about it, right? But I mean, coaches have been fired for less, so
yeah. And it's at what point it's such a disservice to your team to not fill in holes with the transfer portal. They're so bad at receiver, and receiver has shown over the couple of years of the transfer portal. It's the easiest position to get really good, great players. I mean, a lot of great receivers into the transfer portal. And he could improve that roster. It could make the difference between 2 and 3 wins. And yet
Yeah.
he just doesn't believe in the transfer portal, so he doesn't try to improve his team. It's mind-boggling, and that's kind of my key to the game. I think Clemson has a good defense. They're still good along the defensive line. I think they will make it tough on Georgia offensively. But on the other side of the ball, when Clemson has the football, the mismatch is so Georgia heavy. When that secondary covering these, he's going to run out two freshman receivers. There's no way they're going to get any separation against Georgia. Klubnik is not good enough to carry this team. He needs it to be really good, really perfect for him. Offensive line's not good enough to hold up under this defensive pressure from Georgia. The receivers aren't good enough to get open. It is going to be a big-time struggle for Clemson when they have the football. And I agree with you. If I don't have a pick on this one, but if I'm betting it, it's hard for me to see Clemson keeping this game close.
Yeah, I agree. I just think Georgia's going to be too much offensively and defensively to where Clemson, like I said, I think come Monday, you're going to see stuff like Dabo Swinney. Is he on the hot seat? Is he, he's won the national championship there. He's taken them to another one.
1-2, actually. He's 1-2.
Two. Yeah, sorry. And I'm going, hey, if you don't adapt, you're done. So, like I said,
Nick Saban.
his inability to use the transfer portal, I think, is what's going to seal his fate.
Nick Saban, he made the famous quote, the dinosaurs aren't around anymore because they couldn't adapt. So we got to adapt.
There you go. And I haven't seen a dinosaur, have you?
No, sir.
There you go.
No, sir, I haven't. Dabo's acting like a dinosaur, though, not adapting to the transfer portal. Next big game, 2:30 kickoff, Miami at Florida. This is an interesting line. Florida's plus 2.5 at home. You get the Swamp. Florida with the heck of a schedule. They're going to need, they want this one, in-state rival, and they know they're going to need every win they can get to make a bowl with the way their last 5 games are. Miami, after seeing what Florida State did, knows the ACC's theirs for the taking. They got a dynamic quarterback, but they're on the road at Florida. What do you think about Miami at Florida?
I think you're exactly right. Miami's going, hey, look what little brother down the street did. All right, now's our chance. We got to go out there and we got to send a message. It's not a conference game, but it's a statement game. It's in the Swamp. It's a tough place to play. Miami, again, preseason pick, ACC. So I think this game ends up close at first because it is in the Swamp. Florida's going to come out. It used to be if you won the state championship there in Florida, Miami, Florida State, you were pretty good for national awards and one of the best teams in the nation. And I think it's getting close to that way again. Florida, of course, and Florida State laying an egg, but I think Miami, it's a statement game, and I think Miami comes out and rocks them.
Really?
I think they should. Why? Yeah, I think the line is close because it's in the Swamp, but I don't think it's going to be much. I don't think it'll be much of a game.
See, I kind of I'm big on Miami, but I have a bet in this game, but it's on the total. I don't have a pick on the side. But if I did, I think I would, if you twisted my arm, I think I'd buy that half point and take Florida +3 just because it's first game of the season. It's at the Swamp. I think Florida is going to play above their talent level, if that makes sense, in this game. And because it's a rivalry, everybody's down on Florida. I think they come out guns blazing, but then I eventually think they hit a snag in their season and be lucky to win 6 games. I do think Miami might be the more talented team, but I just that's why I'm waffling because that's why I just didn't pick a side in this game because I don't like it, but there is a total bet I like, so we'll get to that in our picks at the end. The nightcap on Saturday, you got a big one. You got Notre Dame at Texas A&M. That's actually where game day is going to be to open up the season. Well, they opened up in Dublin, but I don't really even count week 0. It's
right.
Nice to have a game or two, but this is the real opening weekend of college football. This line has been all over the place. It opened up with Notre Dame being a slight favorite. It has now transitioned all the way to A&M being a field goal favorite. So Texas A&M favored by 3, hosting Notre Dame. Notre Dame's got a new quarterback in Riley Leonard. The they lost their starting left tackle to injury, so they're starting their backup right tackle. So some question marks along the offensive line. Riley Leonard, gutsy player last year at Duke, but he suffered a knee injury or a foot injury. Anyway, middle of the season, he suffered an injury and he was out for the rest of the year. His old coach at Duke is now the head coach at Texas A&M, Mike Elko. I believe A&M is going to have a really good defense this year. I have really big concerns for A&M offensively. I don't know if Colin Klein and Connor Wegman are a good match for what Klein wants to do, calling plays, and what Wegman's strengths are. I don't know about the A&M offensive line, question marks, and not sure about the receivers. So I don't know what offense is going to look like, but I think it's going to be two really good defenses facing off Saturday night at College Station.
Yeah, I think so too. This one, I've got this one circled. I really want to see, like you said, I want to see A&M, every year their year, and I want to see it this year. Excuse me. And Wegman, I was really high on him, and I still like him, but like you said, I don't know. Colin Klein running the quarterback and all that. I'm going, we'll see. We'll see if that works out, but and also we'll see what kind of game plan he and Elko can draw up. I think A&M being a favorite makes sense with the injury at left tackle, and it's in College Station. I think that 12th man's worth a field goal at least, so that makes sense to me. It's probably
Well,
a
and
pick 'em.
also this cat that Texas A&M got out of the transfer portal from Purdue, Nick Scorden or Sardin. Anyway, that cat A&M got from Purdue, defensive end. He is a nightmare. And then you're going to play your third best tackle is going to start against him, and then that matchup, that dude for A&M's defensive line, I think I got a feeling they're going to dominate Notre Dame's offensive line, and I think that could be the key to the game. Is if one, can Notre Dame even protect long enough for Riley Leonard to have time to do anything?
Right.
So
yeah, we'll see. He might be running for his life all game, and if so, that's playing right into that 12th man and what Elko I'm sure is going to do. You're right. I think A&M, that's Elko's specialty. He coached Miles Garrett. I think that's going to be something to watch.
My gut tells me A&M. I'm not picking this game, but if I had to twist my arm, home team 3. I wish it was under 3, but my gut would say go ahead and take A&M -3 at home. Is what my gut would tell me if I was picking it.
I like that. I could see it at the very least a cover.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
but I think or a push, excuse me, but I think they cover.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
So, okay, and then Sunday, of course, we got a game Sunday and we got a game Monday. Sunday, it's LSU against USC in Las Vegas, and then Monday is Florida State plays again against Boston College. So that's why I love Labor Day weekend. You get a game on Sunday, standalone game, and a standalone game on Monday. Let's talk about this big one Sunday. LSU, USC. LSU favored by 4.5. I got a sneaky suspicion USC, everybody's looking down on USC and Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley still can put together great offenses. I have a sneaky suspicion USC is going to be a lot better than what people are expecting because not many people are expecting much out of them. I rewatched the bowl game last year. Miller Moss, the kid that's going to start quarterback for USC, he's pretty good. And I think he's going to fit what Lincoln Riley wants to do and Lincoln Riley make him better. I think USC might be pretty solid this year. I don't know. LSU, they lost a lot on offense. Their defense was awful. I don't know what we're getting at LSU. What do you think, LSU, USC?
I think this is going to be all USC. I think you're right. I mean, how many quarterbacks did Mike Leach take with a system?
Yeah.
And turn them into, I mean, get them drafted.
Right.
Turn them into leading passers in the NCAA. How many quarterbacks has, now granted, Lincoln Riley's had a lot more talented quarterbacks than what Leach had. But look how many Heisman Trophy winners, Lincoln Riley's got under his belt. And like you said, I think it's just going to be a plug and play, and not a lot of people talking about USC going to the Big Ten. Lincoln Riley leaves OU, doesn't want to play the SEC, and goes to USC. Now he's in the Big Ten, and I think LSU lost too much. And we have them season under. I have them season under win total. So I need USC in this one, and I think this one. I think it's all Trojans.
I agree. I would take. I have a total bet in this one, but if I was picking a side, I'd take USC in the points. So that's the big games opening up college football week 1. Let's move to our next segment. It's our question of the week. Again, you can submit questions. We're on Twitter, search Gridiron Grind. We're on Instagram. Our website's gridirongrindsports.com. You can ask us questions, email us questions there, or comment on our video for questions for next week's episode. We'll be glad to get to them. Pick 1 or 2 a week. We're going to, of course, next week we'll start doing NFL and Dallas Cowboys too. So this question, Jimmy, comes from Gary from Van Alstyne, Texas. Gary says, how do you guys feel about the 12-team college football playoff this year? Is it a good thing or a bad thing overall for college football? What are your thoughts, Jimmy?
I think it's a good thing. I don't know if it'll stay at 12.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see. I think the more teams you get in, the less noise you have on the outside, right? Like, why couldn't Florida State, I wish we'd have got them in. They could have got trounced and we could just eliminate this whole argument.
True.
So I think it's good because it's gonna go, okay, you're in. Hey, you're in. Oh, yeah, you got donkey stomped. Well, okay, but we let you in. You can't say we didn't let you in. I think if the games end up being blowouts, if some teams get in there, they go, well, we got too many teams. These teams just aren't up to caliber or whatever. I could see them backing it down, but I think it's great. The more teams in, the merrier, and the more meaningful games we get in college football as well. So I'm all for it. I'm excited. What about you?
I ultimately think it's a good thing, but I will say I do have my concerns, and here's why I have my concerns, because like you said, it's not staying at 12. My concern is, college football is unique in that it's always been about the regular season. It's always been about the rivalries. It's all been about every Saturday. Every game means so much. And that's what's unique about it. In the NFL, you can lose games in September and October, and it doesn't matter. I mean, you still got plenty of time to make. It's all about making playoffs. But in college football, you can't compete in the postseason with a loss, and you definitely couldn't in the past with 2 losses. And so, I want college football to always remain a regular season sport. Like the rivalries, those games meaning something, I think is just that's why I love college football. Like college basketball, it's all about March Madness. It's all about the end of the season tournament. But college football has always been about the regular season. And the more teams we include in the postseason, the higher chance we have of maybe guys sitting out in the regular season once they have their spot. Like, I don't ever want to get to a world where a team's best players sit out of the SEC championship because they know they're already going to make the playoff and they doesn't matter enough to them and they want to sit out to rest for the playoff. I don't ever want to get to a world where that happens. And if you're like if you're Georgia and you're 11-1, so your undefeated season's out and you're making the playoff, how much do you value the SEC championship? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe if you got some guys banged up who would go, they had to, but hey, this doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things, so they're not going to go. I don't want to lose the integrity of the regular season because I'm such a fan of every single Saturday. So I think it's ultimately a good thing because it does involve more people and it keeps more people involved later into the season. But I think it could have a reverse effect if we get too many. I have concerns, but ultimately, as of right now, I think it's better. It's better for the game of college football.
And I think you're right. And Saban said this about the bowl games. He said, guys, too many bowl games. A bowl game used to matter.
Yeah.
It used to really mean something to win a bowl game. And now it's just, oh, well, yeah, everybody's in a bowl game. You get a bowl game. You get a bowl game. 5-win team. Hey, you're in a bowl game now. And so I think it's watered down. You're right. I think it has the chance to water it down, but hopefully it doesn't. So.
All right. Well, Gary from Van Alstyne, Texas, thanks for your question again. You can get your comments or your questions in. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Our website's gridirongrindsports.com. You can email us, comment on this video, and we'll pick questions every week. So with that, let's get to our most famous segment of our show each week. It's our best bets or picks. First one of the season. Last episode we did futures and regular season win totals. This week we're picking games against the spread or the total. Jimmy, you got 5, I believe. I got 4, so you got more.
Yep.
I'll let you start. Give me your first
Start.
first pick of the season, 2024. Let's get hot. We weren't great in college last year. We were unbelievable in NFL. We were the hottest show on YouTube in the NFL last year. In college, we collectively we might have had our worst year we've ever had doing this show. We've done this show a long time. So we're gonna be, we pick up the pieces. We watched a lot of film. We're gonna be back better than ever college football this year. So first pick of the season, Jimmy, who you got?
You're going with the Thursday night thriller. Arkansas Pine Bluff in Arkansas. Give me over 57.5. Bobby Petrino makes his debut back in Fayetteville since the motorcycle madness of the early 2010s. And I think the offense, I think he's going to want to put on a show and give us something to be excited about because, again, our win total is 4.5.
Yeah.
So not much outlook from the national guys for Arkansas. So I think this one, you gotta win the ones you can win, and you gotta win them big. And this is one of them, in in-state school as well. So give me Arkansas and Arkansas Pine Bluff over 57.5.
Bobby P calling them touchdown plays. Let's go call the Hogs. First one of the season. All right, my first one's also on Thursday night. I'm gonna go with the Colorado Buffaloes hosting North Dakota State. Colorado's getting favored 9.5. And here's my thinking. Everybody's talking about how this is a trap game for Colorado. North Dakota State is that FCS school that is hard-nosed. They compete for national championships at that level. Colorado, say what you want about them. One, Coach Prime can motivate his team. And he's had all summer talk about this team ain't got nothing on the Colorado Buffaloes. So he's going to have them hyped up, ready to go. And you saw that last year when they played TCU. Look how good they came out playing against TCU. I think the same thing's going to happen. Yes, Colorado has significantly more talent than North Dakota State. North Dakota State, they're coached really well. They play as a team. But if Colorado can control their emotions and let their athletic ability shine, they should blow the doors off in North Dakota State. I mean, listen, we're talking about a Power 5 school playing an FCS school. It's not like it's Sam Houston State playing an FCS school. You're talking about a state school of Colorado, a Power 4 school playing an FCS at home to open the season with a potential first-round draft pick, a quarterback, and a potential first-round draft pick, a receiver, and corner. And they're only favored by 9.5. No, Colorado's not that bad. North Dakota State isn't that good. Give me the Buffaloes Thursday night minus 9.5.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. I believe the rest of mine are all on Saturday. Next one's Lamar at Texas State. Texas State gets a quarterback from James Madison, and I just went blank on his name. I had it. God, that makes me so mad. Anyway, Texas State, James Madison had one of the best offenses in the country last year, and he's there now. So I go Lamar. That's kind of that's pretty close. Two teams are pretty close. Lamar's down there in San Antonio, Texas State, obviously, in San Marcos. Jordan McLeod is his name, and I think they put up some points. I think both teams put up some points. So give me Texas State and Lamar over 60.
All right. Starting hot on the over train. Jimmy with a couple overs. All right. My next one is a Saturday game as well. It's an 11 o'clock game. I like Kent State plus 24 at Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is going to have – I don't think they're going to be very good. I think Kent State is – I think they're going to give them a game. The 24 is a lot of points. Kent State, this is a big game for Kent State. It's the only Power 4 opponent this season. I think they prepared all summer for this. I think they're going to they have the opportunity to get. I don't think they can win this game, but they can make it a 2-touchdown game for sure. 24 is a lot. Pittsburgh's going to struggle to score 24 itself. Okay,
Yeah.
they're not going to be good on offense. That's why I like Kent State plus 24 at Pittsburgh.
I like it. Next one, Miami at Florida. Give me Miami minus 2.5. I don't think this is going to be close. I think Miami's going to come out and really take it to Florida and announce themselves on the national scene going, hey guys, I know Florida State had a lot of hype, but we're the team to watch from the Sunshine State. So give me Miami over Florida minus 2.5.
Interesting pick. It's going to be a great game. 2:30 kickoff. That'll be a really good game to watch. Miami at Florida. I also, staying with that game, my next bet is that game as well. Miami, Florida. I like the under 54. I think it's going to be a hostile environment. It's going to be hot as all get out. I think the offenses are going to be exhausted. Defense is going to be rotating in and out. I think Florida has Graham Mertz at quarterback. Any team with Graham Mertz at quarterback is going to struggle to score some points. I think both defenses are really good, or pretty good. Miami has got a new quarterback, Cam Ward, who I'm really high on, but it's a first game trying to gel with a bunch of brand new receivers out of the portal. I think they're not going to come out and light the world on fire. That atmosphere, I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be low scoring. I like Miami and Florida under 54 points.
I like that. Under 54.
Yeah, 54.
My next one is
low, but I mean that's like they have to score 7 touchdowns and 2 field goals to beat, or 8 touchdowns, and that's 8's a lot of touchdowns.
I don't see Florida having that much success offensively, so
yeah,
I like it.
I mean, yeah.
Next one, Campbell at Liberty. Liberty is the team on everyone's radar, saying that they're the poster child, one of the poster children for an expanded playoff. Campbell, you know what Campbell's mascot is?
The Camels.
The Camels. That's right. The Campbell Camels. And I think they come in as a, hey guys, we're just happy to be here type deal. I think Liberty, this is a statement game for Liberty. And again, these statement games, in my opinion, you got to show out offensively. Give me over 55, 3 overs to open it up, Creta. 3 overs. Campbell Liberty over 55.
Everybody loves to root for points. Who doesn't?
I do.
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely. It's about nothing's worse than having an under, and it's like dying a slow death when you know there's gonna be a late touchdown to run your bet. I mean, betting unders.
I mean, literally ruin everything.
Yeah. Betting unders is a terrible way to go through life. And I do it occasionally. Now, in the NFL, you got to. We got to make a living. And that's the best way to make a living last year was betting unders. College football is a different deal, though. It is a tough game. I like to bet unders and not watch it because it is like dying a slow death.
Well, dude, you remember a few years ago, the TCU Oregon Bowl game? Remember that under was looking, I mean, we bet the over in that. And that under, it was just miserable. Then all of a sudden, bang, 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 bang. 3 overtimes later, over hits.
Yep.
So, yeah, like you said, don't watch. I went to bed. You woke me up.
Oh, that's
we
true.
were having a party at your house.
Yeah.
You and Grayson woke me up, said, Jimmy, you'll never believe it. I thought you guys would mess with me.
Yes. I remember that.
Got my second wind after I saw the score.
It was in the Alamo Bowl. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of overs, my next bet's an over bet. It's the Sunday game in Vegas. It's LSU and USC. I'm going over 64.5. Couple reasons. One, both teams' defenses stink. And I know they haven't played yet, but I know they stink. They stunk last year. They didn't get any better this year. They stink. Number 2, both offenses can light it up. And they haven't played this year, but I know they can light it up because their coaches love to light it up. Lincoln Riley is going to try to score as many points as he can, as fast as he can. Brian Kelly, he saw what open offense was like last year, and that's the offense he wants to run from here on out. He's at a place where he can recruit athletes, and they got a bunch of receivers that are going to replace their 2 first-round picks from last year. They might not be at their peak level yet, but they're going to score some points. Like this game is going to be in the high 30s and 40s. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I think this will be probably a pretty close game. I like the over at 64.5 LSU USC.
I like it. We'll see. LSU, like you said, replacing a lot. Get Heisman Trophy at quarterback. We'll see. Brian Kelly, not necessarily a quarterback guru, so
Yeah, well,
we'll
true.
see. My last one involves your Longhorns. Colorado State at Texas. 32 is a lot of points. Its number has already come down. Get it in now before it goes any lower. Colorado State plus 32. I don't think, we talk about this. How much do you show when you're in the national discussion for national championship playoffs? And you've got a game like Michigan, the defending national champion the next week. How much do you really put on tape week one? Not a lot. Colorado State, like you said, they may throw it 60 times this game.
They might.
I think Colorado State, I think Texas wins this by 28 points, 4 touchdowns at least. Colorado State covers. That's what I need. Colorado State plus 32.
I like that bet a lot for several reasons. One, I mean, Texas has Michigan on deck, so they're not showing anything they don't have to show for Michigan on tape.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, Steve Sarkisian in his press conference this week said he was going to play as many players as possible, both offense, defense, at quarterback. So he's not going to try to run the score up. If he's in a comfortable lead, he's trying to play second, third string guys. He's trying to get PT. It's going to be hot. He's trying to preserve. I think it's a great bet. And I definitely wouldn't take Texas to cover. I think if you're going to pick one, it's definitely Colorado State plus 32. All right. So round up our picks. Jimmy's got Arkansas Pine Bluff over 57.5, Texas State Lamar over 60, Miami minus 2.5, Campbell Liberty over 55, and Colorado State plus 32. Myself, I got Colorado minus 9.5, Kent State plus 24, Miami Florida under 54, LSU USC over 64.5. That's our show. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts wasn't up last week, but we got that fixed, so it'll be up. So check us out, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Also, check out gridirongrindsports.com for our blogs and our picks, other picks we have. And I got Coffee with Creta coming at you live Saturday morning on Instagram. I'm doing it live on Instagram every Saturday morning this year, so tune in for that. Jimmy, have a great opening weekend of college football. We'll see you next week. Later.
See you.